Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the biggest in the city, World Taste Podcast. We back with another one, episode 221. It's your boy, Big Moolah. You heard me? Got your boy.
This be baby 1-2 of the World Takes.
Let's get it. And tonight, man, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. We got a real special guest for y'all. One of the city's own, man, a legend. A phenomenal story. Y'all gonna hear all about it tonight. Make some noise for Tone, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Welcome to the show, man. Keep a round of applause going for my boy Tone, man. Keep it going. Make some noise, man. You right at home, Tone. Welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate y'all having me.
You already know. First of all, y'all know we got a saying around here. We like to get straight to the shit, so let's get straight to it. Tone, tell the people who you is. Tell them where you from.
I grew up here in the town, Trenton, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on the west side, Roger Garden Projects.
Make some noise for Roger Gardens, man. Let the gun go. Roger Gardens, man. What was that like for you growing up out there? And how long was you out there? Was you out there like until you became a grown man, or was you just some of your childhood out there, or what?
Well, I guess to rewind back a little further, when my family first came to Trenton, because my family's originally from Manhattan, from New York City.
Okay.
So I'll go into this a little more later in the interview, but my mother had ran away from home in New York, I guess, I don't know, teenage years, 10, 15, I'm not really sure the exact age, but she ran away very young. My uncle at the time, he used to come to New Jersey to work like in the casinos, fix up, do construction, build the casinos, all that. So he was already here. So he had ended up selling here in Trenton, New Jersey. He got a house out here, and he found out.
Y'all got, is there volume on your mic? Cause it's peaking real. I don't know if you can turn it down on there. Mm-hmm. I gotta turn it down on here, but it's like real loud.
Yo.
Oh, that's good.
Yo.
Yeah, you was real.
Mine's real loud.
My bad.
It's the minus button.
It's the what? The minus?
The minus button. Last button.
How I sound right now?
Better, cause I couldn't turn this up.
Better or good? Should I turn it down a little bit more?
No, that's good.
Yo.
His better?
Yo.
Turn you down. Like one button. Yeah, my bad.
Mic check.
Yeah, that's good.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, y'all was peaking and I had to turn it all the way.
1 2 1
My
2.
bad. I don't know where you was at, but
It's all good.
Nah, it's all good, man. We just getting to know Tone a little bit. Tone settled in. His uncle was working down doing construction at the casino.
So he start over or it's good? I'll continue. You can edit it, right?
Yeah, I can edit it.
Settled in Jersey. Settled in Trenton.
Yeah. So my uncle settled in Trenton. He bought a house actually on Spring Street.
Okay.
So he was hearing about what my mother was going through, because my uncle brother is my mother's father. So he was hearing about what's going on in New York. Somehow he found out about it. So he drove to the city, picked my mother up, brought her here. So originally, my mother stayed on Spring Street with my uncle and his family. So she's a single mother. My father, my real father, like a lot of us, he slid off. So, she's a single mother, struggling. Didn't have a lot of family. As I said, it was issues with my grandparents, drug issues. I'll get more into that later. So, single mother, young, struggling. So she ended up settling after, I guess, a few years staying on Spring and different places, but she ended up settling in Roger Gardens.
Okay.
And that's how we eventually moved there. As far as childhood in Roger Gardens, we was happy poor. We growing up in the project. I can't sit here and say like, it was the worst. But we was poor. cockroaches. You know what I'm saying? All over. You know. My mother worked a lot. She worked a lot when I was a kid. I'm probably like around 10 years old at this point, but she worked a lot. So a lot of the time I was home, you know, playing, what was out at that time? Maybe Sega Genesis maybe, you know. So I spent a lot of time playing video games, going outside in the back in the field, in the projects, playing basketball, football, the Nerf ball. We had a big field on the back of my apartment in the project, so we playing the Nerf ball. You know, with everybody, I enjoyed sports at the time. So it was just, you always see people on the corner, but, you know, we was kids. You know what I'm saying? So it was regular. We didn't know what was going on. So it was normal.
You went to school in the city? You was going?
Yeah. Well, I went to Stokes, as far as elementary. I went to Stokes, and then after Stokes, actually I stayed at Stokes to about sixth grade elementary. And during this time, like I said, my mother worked a lot, so she made up enough money. She wanted to move us out of the projects. So she didn't want me going to Junior 3. So she got a little spot, a little apartment in Hamilton, actually.
Okay.
But I ain't had no father, you know, just like a lot of us. Y'all know the story. So me and my mom, at that time, we wasn't very close. Like, she would just come home and go straight in her room. She didn't really talk to me a lot. And like I said, my dad wasn't around, and I didn't really have a real close family. So it was just me. Like, so I was craving attention, just like a lot of youth, just craving attention. But like I said, we staying in Hamilton at the time, and I'm going to middle school out there, but I'm not really going, you know. I wanted attention, so I'm still communicating with my friends in Roger Gardens in the projects, and I started hanging back out there. My mother, you know, she wasn't cool with it, but I started hanging back out there. I did go to Hamilton for like junior high school and high school, junior high school, and I think I went 9th grade and 10th grade I dropped out. Okay. And like I said, I started hanging back in Roger Gardens, so I was like, my life just went left from there.
Is that, you know, I got a lot of questions. You know, you mentioned that a lot of fathers aren't around, right? And we talked off camera. You know, I know you try and be the best father to your dad. Is that kind of, I mean, it's not to that to your son. Is that why? Is it like you just trying to break that mold and be a better example for the youth?
Exactly. You know, I know how I feel, because I often think about why, you know, I got involved in a lot of things in my life. And I think like, damn, like I would go back to being, a kid, and like, damn, like I wanted attention. Yeah. I wanted somebody to talk to me, teach me shit, spend quality time with me. And I know how that feels, you know, even to this day. You know, I'm in my 40s now. You know, I would love to be able to, you know, call my dad and talk about something. You know,
Is he still with us?
He stays somewhere in Jersey.
So you have had a chance to meet him.
I met him once when I was 30.
When you were 30?
When I was 30 years old, I met him. But then I didn't. How
did you meet him? How you came across him?
My mother, I guess, talked to him, you know, over the years through email, because he went to the Army or the Navy, and different stories I hear, and I guess he had some mental health issues, whatever was happening in the Navy, the Army. He didn't come back the same. So, but the point is, my mother, she kept communicating with him over the years, and I guess she coordinated a meeting, and we met around 30.
Who was the vibe of the meeting though? Like, how did, like, after, because that was a chance where I guess y'all could have connected and kind of tried to keep things going, if that's what two grown men want to do, right? Grown men want to do what they want to do. So how did you feel after the meeting? Is it something you wanted to continue, or you just was like, nah, I'm good?
I was open to it. I'm not the type of man that holds a lot of hate or grudges, you know, in my heart. So
Good.
I was disappointed. Of course, he wasn't around, but he was just like a lot of things I've been through. He didn't know. He felt bad, you know. So he just like, you know, we gonna keep in touch. It didn't happen. So yeah, so I met him that one time at 30, and then that was it. I think he reached out like maybe a few years ago, asked for a DNA test.
Really?
Did you do it? Or you just wasn't really beat?
I was open to it, but at the time, honestly, yeah, I kind of wasn't, because I was going through some things, some legal issues. I just had a lot going on. I was just like, I mean, if you'd have asked me this at 30 when we first met, I could be like, all right, we understandable. But you're asking me this now, like, you know, 10 years later, what's the point? Like,
Did he tell you he had other children? Do you have siblings?
well, I knew already that I had a sister from my father's side already.
Yeah.
Actually, we had ended up meeting, you know, a few years ago. She lives in California. But I heard about her growing up, but I didn't really meet her until like later in life.
How was that meeting?
Oh, my sister, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, she, our lives are like totally different, like day and night. Because she grew up with him. He was actually around her, you know, so she, you know, our lives are different. She went off to college, and she's out of here. She stays in Hollywood, and
she still has a relationship with your father?
It's sort of similar. He just texts us. I guess he has an issue with phones.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess they talk on email, not text, but email each other. So it's sort of the same. But I know she grew up with him, like in the house when she was younger, compared to me.
So let's kind of go back. So you 9th, 10th grade at this time. You drop out of the school. You back in Roger Gardens. Walk us through that. What's going on in Roger Gardens at this time?
Yeah, like I said, I wanted attention, and you know, I reached out to some of my, you know, friends that I was only away like maybe a couple years, so we still talk on the phone and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to some of my old friends back in the neighborhood, and you know, I started coming back around. This was I guess like around, they was all going to junior 3 like in 9th grade. Mm-hmm. And like I said, everybody still remember me. That's Tone, you know what I'm saying? You know, we grew up together. So at that time, in these years, everybody's just coming off the porch. Mm-hmm. Them years where it's like, all right, you know, now, like I said, when I was growing up, you saw the people on the corner, but you didn't know what they was doing. We just go to the store, you know what I mean, buy 25-cent juices and keep it moving, go play basketball. Yeah. But now it's like, you know, people, we come with the porch, you starting to explore in drugs. And you know, we was getting in, it was a lot of fighting going on. You know, this is like junior high, so they was the projects and the down the hill and, you know, different other groups from the town. For sure. It was a lot of fighting. So I'm from the project, so I indulged in it, you know, like everybody else. So
you fought?
Oh yeah. We did a lot of. We would go to party because, you know, in the project it was a lot of us, like a lot. So we would go
real quick for the people the world takes. Who's some of the people you like when you was a kid you fought, if you can remember?
Very dear friend of mine, rest in peace. My homeboy, his name was Marty. Frazier. He passed away.
Make some noise for him.
Many years ago. Some of y'all might know him, some of y'all might not. But he was someone very, very close to me. My homeboy, Drama, you know, he was.
Oh, you fought Drama?
Nah. Oh. Nah, we never fought, but you know, he was around.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Don't. Oh, you asked who I fought, or you just asked?
Like.
Okay. Oh, all right, I'm tripping. It was mainly just like group fights.
Yeah.
You know, we, cause I would cut school a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I would come to Hamilton on the bus, and I would meet them down Junior 3, and then people just start fighting. You know, we'll walk up the hill to Stuyvesant, and we'll just start fighting Stuyvesant or whoever we was going at it with the time. And it was a lot of us in the projects. Like we would go to the wide parties, like maybe 50 or maybe 100 of us. So we would just, after we get done You know, drinking. 'Cause we young, we wilding, so we drinking and shit in the party, smoking. You know, and we would just crash the party. Once the party was over, we just tear it up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Them was the days though.
Them was the days. Them was the days. So that's how that was. At least like in junior high. Once high school, then we kind of things went to a different level. But as far as junior high, that's pretty much how I was at that point. Once I came back.
Okay, you mentioned that, you know, you was coming off the porch, you didn't know what the people on the corners was doing, and then at some point you realized what they was doing. Like, at what age was that, and how did that affect your life?
Age, I guess, I don't know, 14, 15, 13. I'm not sure what exact age. But, you know, we would see what was going on. So I think we started out like with marijuana, you know, just buying marijuana, selling it. So that was kind of like the start of that. We wasn't, at some point, most of us had dropped out.
Yeah.
We dropped out, or like we wasn't really going to gym. We didn't, school was like a joke, you know, to us, you know. Looking back on it now, of course, like that was a big fuck up. But, you know, at that time it was a joke. So, you know, we wasn't going to school, we was cutting school. So it's like, well, everybody's in school. No, we on the street. So I think that's when we kind of just started getting involved in drugs and crime.
Now, you lived a very full life. You've been a lot of places. You've done a lot of things. I know you just mentioned that dropping out of school probably wasn't the best decision. Do you want to say something to the youth right now while you got the opportunity about maybe staying in school if they can, or do you just don't believe in school like that, so where it's like not even something you recommend?
Not at all. I definitely believe in education. So yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely. You know, if you in school right now, junior high, high school, stay in there. You know, because and my mother told me this years ago, and it kind of always, I made like a mental note of it, and you know, even still to this day, I still think about it. And she was just like, when I stopped going, I dropped out, and she was like, "This how it all starts. You're gonna be a bum. This how it all starts." And I was like, whatever. You know, I'm making money. You know, like we wanted to be cool. We wanted to have money. We wanted to have the pretty girls and whatever. We just wanted to have money. Like, you know what I mean? We thought this what it was going to be forever. So yeah, I would stay in school. Stay in school, you know. I don't know if they're going to listen because it was something that was telling me the same shit, you know. But yeah, stay in school. 'Cause it might seem cool now. You making fast money, you know, not going to school, doing what you're doing. But in the end, it's not going to turn out well at all. So stay in school.
You got something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So around age 14, I'm hearing that's where, you know, your life started to transition from, you know, going to school into indulging in violence, vandalism. You were selling drugs too. You were selling marijuana You were selling marijuana about 14.
We was, yeah, I used to sell it in school actually. When I was going to Hamilton, I would get it from here and go back, you know, to school. But we was selling drugs, but it was more like part time. It wasn't really like, you know, but that's what we was doing.
And then you said crime. What other crimes was you doing? Was you like stealing cars and stuff like that? Or
I never
B&E?
I never indulged in stealing cars or breaking in people's houses. I was mostly just like, I would say myself, drugs. Drugs was more so my thing. Drugs, armed robbery. That was
real quick. Do you remember the year, like the time frame you was in high school, or you know when you dropped out of high school? What years that was?
This was I think like 96 maybe.
96?
Something like 95, 96.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were 80s baby?
Actually 70s.
Late 70s though?
Yeah, late 70s.
Late 70s,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, marijuana, that was the very first drug that we got. Well, I could say for myself, most of us, but I got introduced to. And then not so much B&Es, but you know.
The armed robberies.
Yeah, but I guess I was more so high school once, because guns, we didn't really get into guns to like high school, but just like junior high years,
Okay.
more like marijuana and just like fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom said something very interesting. This is where it all starts, huh? This is where, what she said, you're going to be a bum? But you
Yeah.
still made, I'm bringing that up for a reason. You still made something of yourself, right? So it can be done. So to the kids at home, if you're not in school, I don't want you feeling bad. I don't want you tripping. It's not for everybody. Do I recommend you stay in there and do what you got to do and finish? Do I think that'll make it a little easier for you later on? 1,000%. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. And you can still make something of yourself. And that's why we got Tone on the show tonight. Tone, I know as your life progressed, you started dabbling in other things. You started moving around a little bit. I know the prostitution had came up. Talk to us a little bit how you got into that, and talk to us about what time frame that was.
Well, yeah, I started moving around once I got, I guess this was early 20s. I started, my first place I went to was Atlanta. But as far as when I got involved in the women business, like I said, this was after Atlanta. So I was at the time I was hanging out a lot in New England, upstate New York areas, Vermont, them areas. I was working up there, you know. I was involved in, like I say, my thing was more so drugs. But
what would you moving up there?
Well, I think a hustler could sell anything, but whatever I could sell, heroin, cocaine, whatever. But I would say mostly cocaine, heroin. That's what it was for the most part. But I got involved in other things also. But then
We had a conversation the other day, and I found that so interesting because I don't know if many people have been to Vermont, but me personally, I have. Right?
You mean niggas?
It's nothing like what we used to. It's nothing like the houses not on top of each other. They don't got the projects. It's mountains. It's snow, skiing. So I was intrigued by that because what do trapping even look like in that?
You don't think they got the hood in Vermont? That's crazy.
I know they got traps. I know they got traps now, only from talking to Tone though, but it's more like it's a different kind of trap. It's a hibernation trap.
Okay.
You in the crib, bro. You're not outside moving around in the city, moving and shaking. You're not doing nothing we doing down here. You damn sure not standing on no corner. They don't got. Do they got corner stores?
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It's a highly Caucasian area. It's very little African Americans there at all. In some towns, if any. So yeah, during that part of my life, you know, 'cause of course I'm not involved in none of that now. But during that part of my life, yeah, you would have to stay in the house. You couldn't come outside. Even if you were just walking down the street to the store, you know, to the convenience store, the police would stop you, ask for your ID. What are you doing around here? Stuff like that. So you know, you had to stay in the house. You couldn't come outside. So you had to have, you know,
runners and stuff.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, but to answer your question, it was this girl. It was a white girl at the time. And I'm getting to the point later, but she was a teenager. I didn't really know how young she was at the time, but I knew her. She was pretty, blonde hair, and like I was in the trap in the spot because I didn't go outside. So she came in one day, and well, it was one night actually, 8, 9 o'clock, and she was like, you know, here, hold this. She gave me some money. I was like, what you mean do with your money? I'm thinking she wants some drugs or something. It's like, nah, just hold it, because I was about to come back here to Jersey the next day. She was like, nah, just hold this. I'm going with you. I'm like, all right, whatever. And so she gave me the money and she left. And I'm thinking, you know, she's probably gonna come back later and just buy some drugs or something. So, you know, I went to sleep, and maybe I guess around 2, 3 in the morning, middle of the night, sometimes the door, you know, was somebody knocking on the door, and it was her. And she was just like, yeah, you know, I'm going with you. I'm going back to Jersey with you. So, we went to sleep and we woke up and I was like, so I'm saying, like, what you trying to do? Like, what you want me to do with this money? She's like, well, don't worry about this. I'm gonna go down to Jersey and work. So I'm like how? It's like, I'm gonna show you. So I'm like, I'm not even following, like, what's she talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I had my driver at the time, she, rest in peace. She was a very, very close friend of mine, beautiful woman. But she drove us down here, and my plan was really just to stay for a few days, regroup, purchase more drugs, and come back. So during that time, she just like, because this was a while ago. So we she's like, we need a computer. So I'm like, we need a computer for this. Like, we need a computer. So we went to the library right downtown, and she got on the computer and she wanted this. It was this site at the time. I'm not sure if it's still active. It's called Backpage.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she just start typing up a profile and putting a picture up there. And she used my number or something. Maybe it was her number, but she put the number in. Like I said, I'm like, man.
You green right now.
Yeah.
You don't know about that yet.
Yeah, so she
Let me ask you something real quick. Was you sleeping with her? Did you have sex with that girl?
I did, but at that time, and I'll get more into it later. I had a woman at the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at her as like, it was just business.
Yeah.
And my ex-girlfriend probably, when she watched it, she probably
knew
trip.
It.
But
I
I got to be transparent. But anyhow, it was just business with her. Like, she would just buy drugs, and I think, did I have sex with her? I think
what was her drug of choice?
She was I'm gonna get to that. And I'm gonna say this too, because some men probably be listening. Because, usually some type of women not supposed to use drugs, but these days and this time, it's not like the 70s and 80s, some working girls, everybody uses drugs now. So it's a different culture. But her drug of choice was crack cocaine. Okay. Like I said, I didn't really know a lot of this at the time. But anyhow, she started setting up the back page and everything, the ad. And like I said, I'm not really taking it seriously. And she set it up. She's like, all right, now watch this. So we walked back down to the car, from the library. Next thing I know, the phone would just start ringing. I'm like, what the fuck? And it wouldn't stop ringing. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then she starts to talk on the phone, with the people, tricks at the time. I didn't know what they was, but and she started, she starts coordinating appointments and dates, and she's like, oh, I need you to take me here, or take me to Lawrence, or take me here. And I was like, okay. So I would drive her, to somebody's house, and it was mostly in the suburbs.
This all between the time you were supposed to come, just chill, re-up, and
he
go
was
back
coming down for a couple days.
Yeah.
She started having, she moving, she shaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she John, I think John remember.
John probably hit too, basically.
Nah, he ain't hit, but I brought him to her studio before. He might vaguely remember. But yeah, so I would drive her to like out in the suburbs, because here it's mostly black men here. Ain't nobody really cashing out like that. Mm-hmm. But I drive her to somebody's house, like the white people in the suburbs, maybe like in Lawrence or Princeton, something like that. And she'll go in, I'll sit in the car, and she'll come back maybe like 20 minutes later, 15 minutes, and she'll give me the money. And I'm like, okay, I'm like getting the hang of what she's doing. I'm like, okay. So, but she'll give me the money. She's like, here, hold this. I'm like, all right, so you want me to hold it? She's like, yeah. You know what I mean? And then she would repeat, do the same thing again. And then, so it got to the point where, I guess after she'd get done working, or maybe she might do a date or two, she want to smoke. So I would be in
oil.
Yeah,
okay.
She was involved in crack cocaine. Like I say, when you look at it, you wouldn't, like, if she was to walk in here now, like, you wouldn't even know she even did any drugs. Say she's young, blonde hair, nice shape, yes. And so being she was giving me the money, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna make her buy it. She just gave me her money. You know what I mean? So I would give her the drugs, and then but the time I'm giving the drugs, the phone's still ringing. So once I gave her the drugs, I noticed like she would start like leaning up against the wall, like in a squat position, taking her shirt off and like holding her breasts up, and she would just give me this look like she was just gone, like somewhere else. And it's like, I'm still like, listen, the phone ringing. It was over. She wouldn't want to work no more. And I made a mental note of that. That was like my very first girl, and I made a mental note of that right there. And I said, okay, well, one, like, you know, I took her back to New York and dropped her off. This is not gonna work. Once she started smoking, she didn't want to work no more. But my mental note I made was I can't get involved with women that do that. I can't work with women in the business, escort business that smoke crack cocaine. Yeah. So once I dropped her off, I went back to, you know, doing what I was doing, back to selling drugs. But I made a mental note. I saw, okay, this is something. This is something different. Yeah, and it was no guns involved. It was quiet, low key. You understand, on no corners. It was very, very low risk. It was a misdemeanor if you get caught. So it was like she taught me what I learned from her was just the business side, like how to advertise a woman. You know, the lingo, stuff like that. But I didn't know as far as how to carry myself as far as management of the woman. I didn't know that. So, and saying all that to say also, come to find out, she told me she was like 19, 20. Mm-hmm. She was only like 16, 17. I didn't know. So saying that to say, sometime, you know, could be a lot of this happening nowadays with human trafficking and different type of situations. Okay. Sometimes women will lie about their age.
That was at all-time high back in those days.
Yeah.
Lying about the age.
No, it's how people, yeah, I'll be back in like an hour or so, okay?
All good.
All right.
All right, we're going to take a quick pause. We'll be right back. You doing good, man.
Oh, yeah?
You doing good, yeah. You doing good. I like that. They definitely used to be lying about their age back then. Yeah, like even shorties I know, shorties I was going to school with.
You remember your mic on, B? I was trying to
yeah. I'm gonna I want to throw it out there too because a lot of people
you in the game
though.
See
your mic?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, that was the catalyst.
That's fire though, cause you ain't know nothing about that, and she said, "Hold this."
Yeah,
that's how it started off.
That's how it started off. And if I would have stayed in town, I never got exposed to that. That was the power of being somewhere else.
You see different shit. You find you learn different shit, and you apply that in your life, and it take you somewhere.
Mic check. That's good. Yeah.
That's fire, bro. Word is life. That's really fire. That's a crazy story. Everything good?
Yeah, your combo was a little bit on there.
We paused it. Hey, we back. We right back. Let the gun go. Let the gun go. We up here with Tone. And we right back to it, y'all. So Tone, she kind of taught you the game. You took it, you applied it, and you kind of took off with it.
Well, it wasn't an overnight thing. Like I said, I went back to New England. Mm-hmm. I got back into what I was doing, and I dropped her off. She went on, with her life. And I made a mental note about it. Like I said, that was only like a few days, maybe a week at the longest. I had it here in the town. So as time went by, I kept doing what I was doing up there, and like I said, like she taught me, the business side, how much to charge and how to advertise, but I didn't know how to get a woman. I didn't know how to treat her once I got maintained women. So it only lasts. That's why it only lasts a week. So looking back on now, I did a lot wrong. So. As time went by, I don't know how long after that was, but I came across another woman. Because during this time, it was lots of young women that were doing drugs, hardcore drugs at this time up there. Yeah. So it was lots of them. But like I said, I didn't know at the time until I met her. I call her L Money. I'm like, how to pick them. So I came across another one. And I want to throw this out there too, because I don't want people, getting like the wrong impression or anything like that. Mm-hmm. When I looked at it, which I wanted to do with L, but I never got a chance to do. I wanted, because a lot of these women, they use drugs. They stray girls. They fucked up in the game. Mm-hmm. I wanted to help them. not so much because people growing at the end of the day. You're not gonna get people to get off drugs. If that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. But I looked at it like, well, you're using drugs, a lot of them homeless, they don't have nowhere to go. You know, so I'm like, well, listen, you know, we can get together. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, we can get together. I can take you off the street, give you a place to stay, and you can still use, you know what I'm saying, use your drugs. And the money we making, you benefiting from it, I'm benefiting from it. So it's like
Mutual.
a partnership. Yeah, so I looked at it like I wanted to help them, you know, better them. So, and some of them, shit, I would love for you to get off drugs, but is that realistic? So anyhow, I ended up, I'm going to throw it out there, but I ended up meeting another woman, kind of similar background. And I took some of the things that I learned from L and applied it to the second girl I met. And this girl, you know, she wasn't involved in crack cocaine. And like I say, L only lasted about a week, but with this one, it lasted months. So like I said, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning, you know, certain things.
Yeah.
But what a lot of the women in the business, you know, they scandalous, you know. So they lie for a living. So saying that to say, it's like you have to get physical. And you know, and like with that second girl, for instance, I might scream in her face, but that was a barrier for me, at least at this time. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
You know, and then
Like, what type of stuff she'll lie about that'll have you ready to scream in her face and really want to put your foot in her ass?
She might just do things like, you know, she might be going to a trick's house, and you know, I might be watching her from the window, getting a taxi to go to the trick house or something like that, and I'd be looking, and then she done coordinated one of her homegirls to meet her. You know what I mean? She getting a taxi going there, and I'm like that's not cool. So after she would come back later that night, you know, with the money and everything, you know, I would, you know, get on her about it, but I still found myself, and like I said, this time, you know, I just thought if I was a nice guy, then they'll listen. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to hit the woman. I didn't know it don't work like that. I really thought you could just be nice, and I thought, you know what I mean? And then I had another issue. I watched my mother, you know, growing up in Roger Gardens. She was physically abused by my I got a younger brother also, by my younger brother's father. And I was
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was traumatized, but I would see that, you know, being a kid, you know, 9, 10 years old, and I'm sleeping, and bang, 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 bang. I wake up to him banging on the door. He was smoking crack cocaine. So when I'm hearing him banging, I know, you know, it's something about to happen. My mom's like, you know, go away, you know, don't, you know, leave. And he would just keep banging and banging and banging and kicking. And you know, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was afraid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly. Then, you know, I'm not get into you know, that's a long story, but I watch, or I would hear, you know, like some nights he would break in. He would come, like sometimes he would come through the fire escape and come through the kitchen window. I don't know how he did it, you know, but it's a part in the projects where like you got the fire escape, but you got the kitchen window, so you got to kind of like leap a little bit to get to the window. But one night he did it, and you know, he would assault my mother. He would assault my mother, and I would hear it, not so much see it, and she'd be like, Tony, you know, call the cops. Tony, you know, like he was beating her up, you know what I'm saying? That shit. So saying to say, you know, it traumatized me and left a note in my head, you know, why I was doing this. So it was like a barrier when I got these women. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So with that situation, with that, I think with that second girl didn't work out because of that. So that didn't work. So, but we hung out for maybe, you know, I don't know, a few months or whatever. That didn't work. That was a barrier. But then as years start going by, be mindful. Like I looked at the woman thing, 304 thing, whatever you want to call it. It was like a silo thing. I'm like, okay, I'm learning now how to get women, how to turn a woman. I'm learning these things as I go along, but I'm not learning. I can get them, I had the talent and the skill to get them, but I didn't know how to keep them.
Retain them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then I realized, okay, me not put my hands, and don't get me wrong, some women I work with, they do listen. Some women are ideal, generally, they listen, they stick to the rules of the game, and everything's all good. They do their job. But that was a barrier, and then I realized, okay, well, you're gonna have to get over that, or it's not gonna work. And like I said, it was something part-time. I didn't, drugs was my full-time thing. But I kept coming across them. I don't know, maybe it wasn't me. I wasn't coming across them. Now as the seed is planted, I'm seeing her, I'm selling the drugs, and this woman is, one girl, beautiful. They might look like a diamond that just need to be shined. And but
they're shining, but they're just hopeless. They're thought.
Yeah,
that box hot, and then
but
they might look like goddamn Beyonce in her prime.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there like that.
But now your vision set to peep stuff out. Like, yo, I can turn her out. We can all win off of her personality. Because I'm sure it'd be girls who live in that lifestyle for free or for crumbs or something like that. At some point, once your eyes open, you like, nah, that's doing it wrong, baby.
That's what I saw. I saw women that was prostitutes, drug prostitutes, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just like, damn, like you doing this really for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you can get way more money and you can live. They was homeless place to place. You can live way better. Yeah. But some of them, what I meant by date, some of them they wouldn't look all that, or how they was living, or like a diamond that just needed to be polished. Like it was their appearance. They was beautiful in the face, but they just didn't look. The clothes, and the makeup. Yeah. So I always would see that. I had a gift to see that vision. Like damn, and my mom, like if I could take her shopping, and just clean her up a little bit, she could be beautiful. She could be $1 million bitch. Mm-hmm. So
woman.
Yeah,
is that what happened to Pretty Woman?
Essentially.
That was what y'all was watching?
We used to watch
Pretty Women.
We used to watch this other one called on Stars called the Girlfriend Experience. It's this little escort show on. I don't know if you heard of it. But that was something.
And one day it was something on HBO.
Taxi Cab Confessions.
And was it Real Hookers?
I watched that.
No, it wasn't Real Hookers.
What was it called?
Hunch Point? No, that was Hunch Point.
It was something on HBO.
Real Sex.
Real Sex.
Real Sex. I remember that too.
Real Sex, man.
I remember that too.
Make some noise with Real Sex.
But so like I say, this put my hands on a woman. It was like that was like a barrier for me. But like I said, I kept coming across these women. I realized like I'm like I didn't have no OG to talk. Like I might have had an OG to talk to teach me how to sell drugs, but in
that business.
In our city, there's nobody really
that was doing it like
that. I don't really know.
It was a generation gap between people who was doing that. Because it was people who
was generations before.
It's some pimping in the town for sure. It's some legendary pimps.
Yeah, 2 generations before they was out there.
Yeah,
word is life.
Yeah,
he was a baby when they was out there because he late 70s. So when they was out there 70s, 60s.
For sure.
He was a baby.
Yeah, so it was like that was like a barrier for me from like having a woman, maintaining a woman for a week, a few months to actually maintain a woman for many years. Yeah. So I had to overcome that, and first, it would cause they just doing scandalous shit, and it's just like come on. And I'm just like, yo, you ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie. Like I'm like, yo, like I'll just make an example, like, if you wanna get high, you know what I'm saying? Just don't get high with no tricks. Yeah. Do what you do. Don't get high with no tricks. So it'd be sometime, I would like impersonate, a trick. Send a text out. Hey, I got something, well, this, then just to see if they would take the bait, and they wouldn't. Well, they would actually.
Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Now, when you say don't get high or no tricks, like don't go there high or don't let somebody pay for your services
Don't
for
indulge
drugs.
with them, right?
Exactly, because what happens is if a woman goes on a date with a man, and the man he sees or the trick, and we call them tricks because you're supposed to trick them. That's why we call them tricks. So if a man sees that the woman, however it comes up in conversations, or some tricks of they slick. They might pull out a little cocaine, or pull out a little Xanax, or pull out whatever, heroin, whatever. Just send little text messages. Because a lot of time, going back a little, I run the phones. I run the computers. So a lot of the messages that the tricks are sending to them, they're sending really to me.
Yeah.
I'm impersonating. I'm running the phones. So anyhow, they would throw a little shot. Hey, do you party? So I would school them. Educate them to the game. Like, listen, when you go out in the street, this is what's going to happen. Before you even go out there, I already know this is going to happen. You don't just tell them, no, you don't use drugs. You don't use no drugs. So they would know. Like I say, what's going to happen is if the trick sees that you use drugs, he's going to know he has a weak woman. And so what's going to happen, he's not going to cash you out. He's not going to pay no cash. You're not going to get no cash. Once he knows you use drugs, it's like open. It's fair game. So I would tell them that, and then but I guess looking back on now, they drug addicts. They got issue with drugs, so that was hard. Difficult to resist. But still in all, that's fucking up the business. When you can come home, or you can just get the drugs from me. You know what I'm saying? Why go out and go get drugs from somebody? You don't know somebody to put something in these drugs. They can give you these drugs and knock you out, rape you, kill you.
Take your money.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you don't even get no money out. You're not, so I'm just making an example. Things like that, so then, now it's like once you bust them in a lie, you have to do something. Now, what are you going to do? It's like
they won't feel like they can just keep lying to you.
Is
that accurate?
Exactly. Once a woman knows that she can scheme once, she's gonna do it twice, and so on and so on. So now it's like you have to assert.
All right, so I definitely I want to know about the first time you ever had to lay your hands on the 304, right? But I do want to mention that you had a point with I remember being younger, like 16, 17, first time you getting the G-Ride, getting a little sense of freedom, going up the chrome and all that. I remember meeting girls and that used to be the top, if it's what's your name, where you from? And then the next question be you trick, you smoke?
You smoke.
Know what I mean?
Smoke weed.
Basically you party, because honestly, when you get the numb, it is a competitive advantage, you know what I mean? Because women got the right to say, oh, I was drunk, I didn't know what happened and stuff like that. But, if that's the case, it's a lot of guys who going to feed you that to get you where you don't. Hey, man, you just want to have a good time. You know what I mean? You want to open up. So, and then when that comes around, then guess what? We ain't going to no movies.
We definitely ain't going to Capitol Grill.
Nah, hell no.
Five Bros.
Nah, word up.
Cheesesteaks, right?
We ain't doing no concerts, no front rows.
It's over.
So that's a fact though. It's not even about tricks. It's just about the intersexual dynamics and the experience though.
It's business. It's business. It's just like we doing this interview right now. We're not in here drinking or smoking marijuana. We're not intoxicated.
Don't do that.
We doing business.
We professionals.
But I would going back to what you saying. Actually, the women, I wouldn't let them hang out with you. Nothing against you.
Yeah.
But I would tell my women, you don't date African Americans. You date every other race, but you don't date African Americans. That was like a golden rule.
And tell us a little bit about why that is.
We too slick. Yeah. And most of the women I work with, I do business with white women. Mm-hmm. So, we know how it is. But brother, you just said it. We trying to
maneuver.
We trying to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thrill in it a lot of times. To be able to get it for free, ski.
You said something else interesting as to where the first girl, the second girl, you didn't know how to maintain them for some years, right? I think that's the secret a lot of men is looking for out here. How do you maintain? How do you keep them? And that's not for me. That's not something I need answered, right? Because I know, but I just want to hear your perspective on how it is you keep them.
Well, I think a personal relationship, like a square bitch or a square woman, you know, that's kind of different. So I don't know if you ask him personally or business wise, but I would say far as business wise, long as, you know, one thing I learned about some of the women that, you know, I work with, and I think this in general, they don't care about money really. You know, women, they don't care about giving you their money. They just want to know, they want to be taken care of. A woman just wants stability. You know, she can go out and make
security.
Yeah, well, she can go out and make whatever, $5,000. Say, here, take the money. But she know that, you know, that money you're gonna pay the rent, you're gonna pay the overhead, you're gonna keep roof over her head, you're gonna pay the car note so y'all have a vehicle. If she needs to get her hair done, you know, all this stuff women like, hair done and nails done, toes done. She want to go shopping. She wants to do drugs, most especially. You know, women that say, well, you know, if I give her my money, I know I'm going to have my drugs. Or opposed to, I can take the money, whatever this $1,000, $5,000, whatever, she going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So if I give the money to him, I'm going to have my drugs, and I'm always going to have my drugs. I'm always going to have a place to stay. I'm always going to look good. I'm always going to have a car. You know, so it's long as you can maintain yourself, you know, as a man, you know, and you got what she needs, she ain't going nowhere, you know. So I would look at it like that. But you was asking me about far as like put my hands on a woman.
Your first experience having to put your hands on them. What happened and how exactly you put your hands on her?
It was gradual. Like I said, this didn't, like I say, the woman business for me, it was always like a part-time thing, like a part-time job. Whenever it comes up, it comes up. My main thing was drugs and other things, but mostly, you know, drugs full-time at that time at least. So as time went by, I would keep meeting women. Sometimes I would have 2 or 3 women living in the same house with me, you know, while I'm doing business. So it was gradual. Like I say, first it would start with me, like I said, I was getting in the face, you know, but I wouldn't put my hands on them because I had a barrier. You know, but then as I start learning, I'm like, okay, well, this is not gonna work, and you know, so if I'm gonna last in this business, and I guess fast forwarding a little more, at some point I wanted to get away from drugs, and when I was meeting women at this time, I'm like, okay, well, I got to make this work, because I'm not selling drugs. I can't be having, you know, a woman hanging around for a week or 2 weeks or a few months, and then, you know, we accumulating things together, and then, you know, you run off and don't work. So I got to figure out how to make this work. So, but it was gradual. First, it might start from, you know, she doing something scandalous to me mugging her. It might start from that, you know. Like, be mindful, I'm still trying, like, not to, you know, take it, you know, that far. You know?
Like, did you mug her and then apologize later?
No.
Did you mug her if she fought back? Then you had to really yoke her up? Like,
I didn't apologize later. It was more like, you know, I would just mug her. I wanted to do more, but at that time, you know, I just, you know, I didn't have the stomach for it at that time at least. So it started from that. Like I said, it was gradual. I'll just mug her, and, you know, she wouldn't do anything, or they wouldn't do anything. And then it went from a mug to, you know, I slap her.
Yeah, open palm or
open,
back
you know, it's like that, just slap her. It was, you know, go from that.
That was a solid smack too. That was a pimp smack. You
see that smack?
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. Let me see that pimp smack. Hit my hand.
Yeah,
slap my hand, brother.
But you know what? Nah, I said that kind of wrong. It would be like I think I would like a punch. I would like punch her in the arm, because you don't want to punch a woman in the face, because if you punch her in the face, then she's not gonna be able to work.
Oh,
So I would like punch her in the arm hard as hell, or punch her like in the leg hard as hell, just so she could know. And then it went to a slap.
yeah.
So it would go to that. And like I say, you still trying to like listen, talk and talk. Yo, you don't gotta lie. But you know, I just learned a woman gonna lie to God, to Jesus. And ain't nothing you can do. That's why I just say, like, you know, if I always learn as time go by, you know, it's just not gonna work unless you have the stomach to put your hands on a woman. And this is just what it is. It's not something I created. It's not what I wanted. I wasn't even born when this shit been going on. All through history. I'm
just being honest.
Yeah, I'm just being transparent with y'all. I'm not trying to glorify nothing. Yeah. This is what it is. So yeah, it started with that, with the slap. We eventually got to the slap. Well, the punching on the leg and the arm, then the slap, and then, you know, eventually, you know, it got to where as though, you know, I might slap her, and she'll fall on the ground, and I just kick her. You know, it got to that to where, and then after a while, it got to where as though now it wasn't gradual. It just, I'm numb to it.
Instinctual.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
And that with that business, it was kind of worse than drugs in some kind of ways, because you come outside of yourself. And what I mean by that, I don't really know that person. I don't know that. I look back and I'm like, I don't know that person, you know? So once you get numb to it, it just turns you into, you morph into another person. You know what I'm saying? You do things that normally you just wouldn't do, you know? But once you get into the depths of it, it takes you somewhere else.
You become a monster.
Yeah.
You become a monster, and you got to stand on it, right? For business purposes, right? Because this is how you funding everything. So it's just like, nah, we're not taking those shorts. We ain't doing it. I get it. I understand the psychology.
That's actually just business in general. A lot of times, if you want to take things to a higher level, you have to turn into monster mode, mamba mode, and everybody. It's not necessary. A lot of people who become successful in the world ain't everybody's favorite. You know what I mean? Like, you can't please everybody. You gotta say, excuse social norms and judgment. Like, fuck it, this is business. Know what I mean?
You gotta get a little cutthroat sometimes.
Because I would say this, maybe, like, I'm sure you can apply that to even when you were selling drugs. I'd like to go back to some of your drug dealing stories too, though. But I'm sure some of that stuff too, like, as somebody who I was in the street selling drugs and stuff, and some of that stuff I can like say like I was outside of myself. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes normal and instinctual, and natural to be in character, a certain kind of character. But then, you know, I get around my family or people who really love me and care, and I'm kind of ashamed of that shit. You feel me? A lot of stuff that I'm lit out in the streets with. You hear me? I'm driving cars. Cops know my name. The girls know my name. And I'm lit. But then when I get around people who really care about me, who gonna tell me some shit like that ain't it.
That ain't it.
I'm ashamed. Like, I'm hiding it and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway.
But that's also true, and I think we all probably have been there as well. I kind of want to shift the focus. I know you did your thing with the sex work. I know you did your thing with the prostitution, but we're running out of time, and while I still got you here, I have to get to the Mexico story. What happened down there? Number one, how did you even land down there? And then ultimately, what happened down there while you was down there?
During my travels, I met some very good Mexican amigos, which amigo just means friends. I met some very, very good friends there. And with these friends, we it was purely personal. It wasn't anything business or illegal or even legal. It was just personal. I just go
Vibes.
Yeah, vacation, stuff like that, hang out.
Now, they was from Mexico, like born and raised, or they was like Mexican family and raised in America?
Yes, they was actually, as they call it, paisas. They was actually born in Mexico. They lived in Mexico, and you got Chicanos, which are Mexicans that were born in America. So these ones, they lived there. So yeah, we we met and we just started. I eventually started going down there, spending a lot of time down there.
In Mexico.
In Mexico.
And what
yes.
part?
I've been to different parts, but I would say the story that you asked me about, a story.
Mm-hmm.
This particular story took place in Tijuana.
Okay.
Me and my amigo, we had I don't know what was the occasion. I don't know. Yeah, I think I was going home the next day or something maybe, and he wanted to show me around. I met him from another one of my amigos, and he wanted to show me around a little bit. So we went out to a club, and we in the club. We partying,
Mm-hmm.
we drinking,
Mm-hmm.
we drugging. There's beautiful women around. Big fun, movie shit. So we had an amazing night, in the club, amazing. So we were leaving, and we was about to go back. He was gonna drop me off at my hotel, and I had some beer, 'cause I drink more so. So I had some beer I wanted to take with me back to my room, but the beer wasn't open. So I'm not on a ride with open containers. So the beer wasn't open, and my amigo like, okay, bring it, So he's giving me a ride back to the room. I just threw the beer in the back seat or whatever. So we riding, and we're riding, and then coming like towards on the left side of the street, it's like a pickup truck, and it's the policia. And I'm not really thinking much of it at the time. You see them all the time. They ride in, then like on the back of the pickup,
They standing up with
they stand up. And they got
some
their
malicious shit.
Yeah. They got their machine guns.
A little bit more than paramilitary, almost military style, right? Like
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They wearing their machine guns. So like I'm not really thinking much of it, because that's how it is in Mexico. Mm-hmm. So we riding past, and next thing I know, my amigos like they turn around, and I look back. I said, okay, they turn around. He's like, yeah, they about to pull us over. So I'm like, all right, we're not doing anything. So we don't, we ain't got nothing in there, but we got the beer in there. But the beer isn't open. There's no drugs. There's no weapons. So he was right. They do pull us over, and they walk over to the car. They pull us out the car. They talking in Spanish. I wasn't sure what they were saying to him. And one of them asked for my ID. I showed him my ID. And then they started talking to my amigo again, and they speak in Spanish. I don't really know Spanish very well. Other than just little words. And next thing, my amigo, he was just like, they gonna take us to jail. And I'm like, for what? We didn't do nothing. He's like, oh, because of the beer. I'm like, but it's not even open. He's like, oh. So he's like, well, they told us only way they won't take us to jail, we're gonna have to pay him. So I'm like, you said we're gonna have to pay him? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, I can't believe this shit. It's the police. Mm-hmm. So I don't carry cash really. So I carry mostly
cards.
The cards.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him, I said, well, I don't really have.
They'll take you to the ATM.
I ain't got no cash on me, So he's so he went back and told him in Spanish, that. And so, but I said, like you said, I said, well, I got my card, the ATM, and he didn't have much on him. Maybe he might have had, I think he might have had like $100, and he said no, they want 200. So I'm like, all right, well, shit. I mean, you can go to the ATM. So he went back, talked to him again in Spanish, and he said, they said okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right. So we got in the car, and we drive into the ATM, and they following us. So I'm just like, man, the police is following us to the ATM to get money to pay them. So, he got out, went to the ATM, got the money out, I'm sitting there watching.
It wasn't $100 no more. It wasn't $200 no more. I'm sure by the time you get that ATM visit, they wanted a little bit more.
Nah, actually, I think it was just $100. You know, $200 is like, it's a lot of money in Mexico.
Okay.
So yeah, he came back. He came back with $100, cashed them out. He drove off.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, you know, coming from our country. Like, I mean, it happens here, but not that, you know, wide open. Yeah.
It happens with drug dealers and stuff like that. Not necessarily random citizens. Damn sure don't happen to tourists, like the police extorting tourists.
It's like they get nasty down there.
I got locked up in Mexico. I recommend Mexico for no one. Same shit. Police extorted me. 2 times they attempted it. The second time they got me, it was because the first time they tried to extort me, my cousin ended up just giving them some money. So after that, I started riding with my money underneath the pad, the floor mat of the front seat.
Doormat.
Know what I mean? And then they come pull me over again. In Mexico. This time they need something. They hungry to a point where I'm like, I only got my card because I ain't had no money in my wallet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like we take you to the ATM, but they want to go to the ATM and try to get more. They want to see. They not like, they aggressive. They aggressively extort you. You know what I mean? And then so then I was just like, nah, fuck it. I started like, nah, I ain't going, whatever. They ended up locking me up, still taking my money from under. They went and searched the card, took my money from under there, never said anything. And they gave my cousin ended up going to the ATM, giving him like $500 or something to get me out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So same thing. Like, I don't recommend Mexico for nobody. Like, for nobody.
My boy be getting locked up everywhere.
but Mexico, because I told you, this other girl I know, she almost had the same situation. So like, yeah, Mexico, you're not unique in that story. I would say that. Like, Mexico, like, but you used to be going down, and that was your first time you experienced that, though?
Best parties in your life. Let's go rapid fire. We getting close. Best parties in your life. Where was they at?
Mexico.
Best women in your life. Where was they at?
Depends what type of women.
Personal, not the business. Personal, the squares.
Atlanta, Georgia, and Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, you did say that. You did. You know a little bit too, and you've been around a lot of places, and I respect that, man.
Any single man, I think Phoenix, Arizona is a good place, and Atlanta, Georgia too. But
okay.
Especially Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
So you was in the drug trade for a little bit. I know you was saying like you was doing the pimping on the side. So the drug, that was like your main source of income. Now, at what level would you consider yourself like, let's just say like, what's the most money you ever done through? Like you counted as you was selling drugs.
That's a whole nother story itself. It was levels, you know. At that time when I was involved in drugs, in New England, it was more like I was looking back on it, you know what I'm saying? I was low level, just like ounces. But eventually, you know, I got involved in some at the time I got involved. I was kilo, multi-kilo, and I learned that because like with the underworld, you have an underworld amongst the underworld. What I mean by that, you have like, okay, you got like right now, you can go on any ghetto in America or Trenton, wherever, and you're gonna have littered with drug dealers. Mm-hmm. You know, they're outside selling drugs. So I would look at that as like, you know, low level guys, ounces, stuff like that. Then you have another different level, you know, other business, which is kilo status, multi-kilo status, 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 50 kilos, stuff like that. I got to a point when I got involved in that part, and that was a whole different world where, you know, your friends change.
Yes. It gets dangerous. Because friends that come try you at that point. When it's multi-kilo, depending on what kind of friend it is, depending on what kind of ops you got, they will come try you when it gets to that level.
True. Depending on how you move, but true. But myself, I didn't really. I was very discreet. I never was flashy. I never was into big cars or jewelry. So I didn't really have that. And like I said, you know, you have an underworld amongst the underworld. So once you get to that other level that I'm talking about, you learn the importance of secrecy. So you have to be very secretive. And that even goes with your closest friends, everybody, you know. So a lot of people didn't really know, you know. I kept, you know, a lot to myself. But yeah, it was definitely a lot with that paranoia, you know. If we have a box full of money, $100,000, $200,000, where would you put it? Most guys, these are guys in the street, you know, like regular people that have a job. So if you got a regular guy that has this kind of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, where would you put it? You can't put it in the bank. So it's like it's very.
I know where to put it though.
Yeah.
I know exactly where to put it at.
Where you'll put $100K?
Look at him. We live on camera. He asking me where. He asking me where I'm putting my 100K at. Nigga, please. I want to get to another story with you, cause he asked you how much cash you counted out at one time.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question, but
I can answer
an
that.
even better question and even more probably science for these kids at home. What's up with it was 140, 150, 160 something in that range. It was the DA on your heels. And the cash got confiscated, and I'm pretty sure you never got it back, right? Or did you end up getting it back at that point?
I wish I did.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Me too. Yeah, that was something that happened in my life. At that time, I wasn't really involved in drugs when that incident happened. But yeah, I was going to visit a relative at the time, and I was here locally, and I pulled into the complex. They stay like out like Ewing, so I pulled into the, you know, it was more quiet out there. So I pulled into the complex. As I pulled in, I see this white boy. It was this white man. He just kind of pacing back and forth by the apartment building, but it's Ewing, so it's like, all right, there might be some white people out there.
You probably
know.
Yeah.
So but I'm not thinking much of it. So I pulls in, I parks, and I gets out the car, and next thing I know, the same white boy pulls out on me. DA, freeze! Like, what the fuck? I'm thinking like it's a movie, it's a game or something.
Yeah.
So next thing I know, they just start swarming, coming out the blue, like 4 or 5 cars just coming in the parking lot. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? And it was a sting. You know, I see why they call it a sting. You know, so they came. They had
Pulling in the Ewing, where you was going though.
People
All that stuff is like you beat that and all that. You can talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak on the facts.
Yeah.
This the facts. You know what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was one of my relatives stay out there in his apartment complex out there. So I was just pulling in to visit him, and then when I got out the car, they pulled out on me, and like I said, they just start swarming out the blue, just coming in, and you know, and as he like, you know, DEA, you know, freeze, get on the ground. So I complied, and then you know they all start coming over there. Put handcuffs on me. But one weird thing that they didn't do, and then I'll get into it later, but they didn't take my wallet. So I guess they knew who I was,
they probably been
or whatever.
watching for a minute.
It was another individual there too, so they like blocked him off.
In the car with you?
No, he was in the parking lot. This other individual actually got detained with me.
Yeah.
So they was like got him, you know, blocked off or whatever. So they got cuffs on me, and I'm just like, you know, this time they got cuffs on me, and they start going through my car, and it was nothing in there, and so they started talking to me. I guess the analogy I would look at it is like, you know how you got like a basketball team and they about to make a play. The coach is in the middle and all the players are surrounded by the coach, the huddle. That's what they did to me. And so they just like huddled in on me. I'm kind of fast forwarding to the story, but they kind of huddled in on me and they like, okay, we gonna be a new team. And he just like, in the box, I think it was like maybe like 100,000 some change, $100,000, $500, something like that. So he's like, listen, you know.
You had it in a box.
Well, I didn't have it. It was a box. It was a box of money that they found.
Okay.
Tone, I like how Tone come, man.
Yeah,
Make some noise to Tone.
So
media train.
they found the money, and they got me they huddled around me and everything. They like, listen, you know, so we're gonna be a new team now, and they like, we'll give you 50% of everything that's in that box, you know, if you cooperate with us. You know, give us your people, you know, and you know, so I'm not, you know, going off no fuck shit like that, you know. So I'm just sitting there, you know, my handcuffs, and you know, and this one, it was probably like 5 of them. He's like he's staring at me. I guess he was like the main one.
The big dog, yeah.
Yeah, the big dog. Mm-hmm. He's just staring at me, just like looking, like, you know. I guess he sized me up. And he's like, you ain't afraid of nothing, is you? And, you know, so I guess after that, they, you know, it was weird. The other guy that they had, it was like, they wasn't really saying anything to him. At the time,
he didn't matter. He didn't matter to them, and whatever they had going on that day, they had who they wanted. Right? He was just a casualty of war. I want to ask you something. When you pulled in there and the nigga pulled out the gun on you, freeze, get down. Did it ever cross your mind, I gotta get out, I gotta take off? Did that ever cross your mind? Or is you one of these niggas that was in that, oh, I don't run from nothing, or you heard me? Do you know niggas from that era that I don't run from nothing? I ain't even running from the police. It's niggas that claim that. I just want to know what your mindset was at that time. Like, why didn't you take off when he pulled that gun out? Why you ain't just run?
I wasn't doing anything. There was no illegal drugs in the car. There was no illegal weapons in the car. I did have, you know, cash on me. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at it, well, worst come worst, you know, you're just gonna take the money. So that's why I didn't run.
That makes sense.
There was no need to.
That makes sense.
So what ended up happening with that situation? Did they give you the money back? Did they confiscate it?
Mm-hmm. We ended up going to the police station.
That's out Ewing.
Yeah, I ended up going to the police station out Ewing. So I'm riding in the car, and all I could think about, I was thinking about this when I had the cuffs on, but all I could think about, I didn't think about going to prison for decades, to the feds for decades. I didn't think about my mother leaving me. Actually, I just dropped my son and my son mother at the carnival, and by June 3 at this time, they were just there. I was just going to go visit my folks, my relative, and come right back. So I didn't think about her leaving me after I went to the feds. But only thing I thought about was that little boy.
Yeah.
So you end up going to feds for that?
Nah. Well, I'm saying as I was in the car on the way to the police station.
Okay, yeah.
In Ewing. That's
but just to be clear, it was a federal sting, though. It wasn't a
DEA is the drug enforcement agency, right?
Yeah,
that's federal.
No.
DEA is federal. ATF is
Okay.
a state level, I believe. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms, I believe that's state level.
Now because they was watching you out Ewing though, like, you know what I mean. So it was like it was some stuff you had going on.
Honestly, I don't know where they was watching me from. I know they made a statement, but this is before I got in the car. I'm kind of, fast forwarding through the story. They made a statement after, I guess they saw that, I wasn't going to cooperate. Before they put me in the car, he said, get this piece of shit out of here. You got a 4-year-old son. And they hauled me away, put me in the car. But as I'm getting in the car and they hauled me away, I hear him saying, we'll see how your friends in Mexico take this loss. So they's making statements like that. But during that time, he was just like, do you know who we are? I'm like, nah, I don't know who y'all is. He's like, we're the DA, So I was in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to the workhouse. This is what I'm thinking in my head. But when he said that, he said, yeah, we're federal. I'm like, okay, so I'm probably going to be going downtown to the building downtown, whatever.
State Street.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, so we in the car. They taking us, took it to the police station in Ewing. All I'm thinking about, like I say, I was just thinking about my son. I'm thinking,
Absolutely.
I'm thinking it's over. It's over. Like, what I'm saying? I'm not getting out. So he take us in this little police station, and I told him, like I said, I never been in this kind of situation before. And I've been arrested so many times in my life I can't even count. But I've never been in this kind of situation. So I asked him, could I go to the bathroom right quick and like be mindful. Like I said, they never asked for my wallet. So I went to the bathroom, and I think I still had the cuffs on me and everything. And I'm just like, I'm thinking, my head is spinning. So I'm thinking like, man, they gonna seize my accounts and everything. Cause like I said, I don't carry cash like that, And the cash, the money I did have in my pocket, they took that. They took the cash I did have in my pocket and put it next to my wallet. So anyhow, I took my credit cards and I don't know what it made a difference, but I like ripped them up and flushed down the toilet. And they took me back, and I sat down back in the little bench they had. And the other guy that was there, they took him in the back. I think he was like a Dominican or something. They took him in the back room, and I guess they interrogating him. And I'm sitting there, I'm waiting, and I'm looking at the clock. It was like a little clock on the left. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. And I looked again. I'm like, it's been like 30 minutes. What the fuck is he doing in there? He been there 30 minutes. So I made a mental note of that. I was like, this ain't a good sign. He been there 30 minutes. So he comes out. He sat back down next to me. They talking. He didn't speak English, so I didn't know what he was saying. But they asked me to go in there. Sat me down. Pretty much the same thing, trying to get me to cooperate. Well, listen, you're not gonna get no bail because of your record. Just trying to get me to cooperate. You know what I'm saying? So, do you need to make a phone call? Pretty much the same thing. Listen, we'll give you the money back. Like, what, you can keep working. Mm-hmm. Just work with us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't with none of that shit. So they took me back to sit down again. And so now it's on them. What's going to happen. They start pacing back and forth, going like this. So I used to read, about certain things. So I know when people start doing that kind of mannerism.
Closed off.
Yeah, it's like it's not good. Like they're not happy. Mm-hmm. So I guess whatever they was looking for, they kept asking me about a storage unit. So in my mind, I'm like, that if that's all this is about, it ain't really much going on because ain't nothing there. You know what I'm saying? I did have a storage unit, but it was just some money there. So they kept asking about this. Just give me your what's up the storage unit and something. So they knew about this storage unit that I kept some of my belongings there. They knew, and I said, well, I don't know nothing about that. So it's like, well, just tell us what's in the storage unit. You can go home now. So I'm like, I don't know about that. So anyhow, they pulled out this paper for me to sign, just saying that I guess the money what the money was taken,
or something like that.
Yeah, like what they basically saying what happened with the money was taken, and like that I didn't agree to cooperate, so I had to sign that paper. And be mindful. Just I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I'm still gonna be detained. I don't know if I'm going to the workhouse, State Street. I don't know what's going on. So next thing I know, they were just like, get up. You know, they asked both of us to get up, and we start walking back towards the car. And at this time, it was it was a woman driving my car. It was like a woman agent, and I'm like, so where we going? And she's like, oh well, we gotta make a stop. And I said, so we making a stop, then we going to the jail. So we like driving this time. So I'm trying to figure we going to the workhouse now, cause we taking like the back roads of Ewing. So she like, we gonna making a stop, and then we're going to the jail. So I'm like, all right. So as we driving, it was like a turn like on Lower Ferry Road where you have to make the right to go towards the workhouse. I don't know if you follow me.
Yeah.
But okay.
1000%.
Okay, y'all get it. So we didn't make that right to take 29 to go towards the workhouse. We made the left. So I'm like, where the fuck is we going? Now I'm thinking like we're going
back towards the town.
Yeah, we're going back towards the town. So I'm thinking, you know, we going some underground secret federal place, or maybe I think we going back to the spot on State Street, the little federal. I'm saying we're gonna go to the federal hold. This is what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. So we driving and we get off the exit on Market Street right there, like by the museum.
Yep. Yep.
So we make the left. They got the other guy in another car, and they got me in another car. So they all made the left, and we pull in like a parking lot, like with no cars. There's a parking lot, but there's no cars. I'm like, what the fuck? So they come over, and the other guy's still in another car. He didn't get out, and they come over, like the head guy, and he started taking the cuffs off. So I'm like, what's going on? He like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, we in the middle of the highway. He like, you know.
On 29?
Well, like 29, but we had got off. We like.
Y'all got off on Market right there.
In the parking lot with the museum.
Yeah. Market Street and 29. You know,
but it was like a big parking lot there. Yeah.
What's that, labor?
Those federal buildings, those state buildings?
It's state buildings.
Is that in the federal building on the right?
By the War Memorial.
Yeah, I know. Oh, by War Memorial.
Right there.
Okay, that's before Market Street. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Memorial.
And they just let you off down there, like
yeah, right.
You was right downtown. You did get off on Market. War Memorial, the block before that, but
that's not Market.
You can't get off on that block from 29. That's Warren
Some
Street.
might call that shit Willow Street. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah, but you know what? Fuck all that.
Yeah.
They let you out. You're a free man now. What was the reaction? What was the reaction from your homeboys, from your amigos?
That's a good question. Well, before I get to that, they let me out, and I'm like, be mindful, I was driving, so I'm like, well,
where my will at?
My car keys. I'm like, what's up, my car keys? So the big guy, he's getting into the one of the other car, and he's holding my keys up. He's like, I'm like, what's up, my keys in my phone? He's like, oh, we having the keys up. He's like, we using that for our investigation.
Fuck shit.
So now I'm just like, I don't have my car keys. I ain't got my phone. I can't call him. This is a very close friend of mine. I can't call him. I can't call my baby mother. I can't call nobody.
You gotta walk of shame.
Yeah.
And
but you in your city though. Let it be clear. It ain't really.
Was you still living in the town at the time? Was you living in the town?
This gonna always be your city when you grow up.
I just wanna. Yeah, I get it.
When you grow up here, this gonna always be your city. They
drop you where was you staying at around this time?
At the time, I was staying in the West Coast.
Okay. Oh shit.
I was just here. I was just
visiting.
Yeah, actually, I was a flight. I was leaving the next day, going back home.
This when you was in Vegas or LA?
So the car was a renter?
It was a rental car.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a rental car.
Vegas or LA?
At this time, I was staying in Nevada.
You was out there in Vegas. When you was in Nevada, was you actually in Vegas or was you in Nevada?
In Vegas. Well, you know, I look at like you got two sides of Vegas. You got like the Vegas where the strip is and all the casinos, and you got like the outskirts of the desert. Yeah. I stayed out in the desert, on the quiet suburbs. Yeah. So yeah, I was just visiting here at the time.
Damn. All right, so Mullah start asking you what's the reaction, like how people take that. I want to know how people even found out about that.
That's a great question. It's funny because once it happened, I ended up walking back to my folks' spot, my family house, and as I'm walking, my head is spinning. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like the feds. I felt like
it's a nightmare.
I felt like that part. I felt like DMX in the movie Belly when he called Nas and he's like, "Oh man, the feds just rushed me." He's like, "Calm down." He's like, "Yo, you hear I just said the feds just rushed me?" So I'm just like, I'm tripping, So I'm walking, I'm thinking all kinds of thoughts. I get back, to my family house and I saw my son, and I called bro, and I had to tell somebody, you know what I'm saying? And plus I needed a ride back to the hotel because I was staying at a hotel at the time, so I called him to pick me up. And I explained, what happened to him, and he was just, blown away, and he was just, he was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Yeah, they just took the money, took the money to let you go." I was like, "Yeah, they took the money, let me go," and he made a statement that kind of like, at that time, I'm like, whatever, nah, you know what I mean? But he said, "Yeah, niggas might think things after this." Niggas might think things like how you get out, you know what I'm saying? What being caught all that kind of money, and how you get out, And going back what I was saying earlier, what I learned, I was talking about, it's a world, it's a world in the underworld amongst the underworld, and like I say, the different levels, to the street. So you got some guys that more like on lower level street type guys. And they might hear, a story like mine. They be like, "Oh, there's no way he can get out." Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And get caught all that money and not go to jail. There's no way. Mm-hmm. But then you have guys that, more so that, I was hanging around that time, or people that, I hang with that, they used to being around large sums of money like that. There's been some guys that got caught with, millions of dollars, $500,000, and it's just like it happens. Just like what's that show Miles in Life? It was the DMX, the BMF driver. I don't know if y'all recall, but it was a documentary about the BMF driver. It was on. Yeah. He got caught with like $500,000, and same thing. They just wrote him up, ticket, let him go.
What people gotta remember is you don't gotta have no college to be no cop. A lot of these cops is municipal police officers. They done failed the sergeant test 3 times already. They can't make sergeant, right? Because they don't know what they doing. They not that intelligent. A lot of the niggas running around the streets is really more smarter than them. They don't got the paperwork to back it up. They might have dropped out in 10th grade. But they really smarter than these municipal police officers. They got their GED and took the civil service test to become a cop and do investigations. You niggas is idiots.
But we talking fair shit.
Bro, it's the same shit. You think, see, that's where people get it fucked up. They think because you got the title federal agent, you some super smart guy. You
just got more resources, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. You not the most intelligent.
No, that don't mean you no more. But you got a lot of resources.
But you can be beat. And it's a lot of cases you want to try and draw up, and you don't got all your shit in order like how you supposed to have it in order when you a federal agent, and that shit just gonna fall apart. That shit happens every single day in this country. Trust me.
That's a good point because that's something that I learned from that situation. The feds is regular people like us. I'm not taking
regular guys.
I'm not taking any.
Just with they got a lot of resources, unlimited resources almost.
But everybody don't got the access, bro. Everybody not able to tap into that federal data. I need this on him right now. He's in Cali. You're in Jersey. I need this on him. A lot of federal agents don't got that power. They ain't making noise like that.
And then a lot of times,
ain't making noise
and like I said, I ain't take nothing against them, away from them. They is very smart people, and they do got a whole lot of resources.
Some of them.
But that part, a lot of they conviction rate, you know what I'm saying, is very high because probably like half of it, most people they be so afraid they they cop out, or most of them cooperate.
That's why I asked you why you ain't run. You said, "Nigga, I don't got nothing. I ain't got no drugs in here, man. Y'all ain't got nothing on me."
In hindsight, did you have to go to court for that or anything, or you just had to file to try to get your only option was try to get your money back?
I went after that happened. You know, I told him about it, and like I said, the next day I had a flight to go back to WC, back to West Coast. So I ended up going back home. I'm going back home. I told my son mother just stay here, because that's a whole nother part of the story. But I told her to stay here. So me and my son went back home, and I just sat home in a daze, you know, just thinking about my whole life. I don't know if you got. I was gonna get into the story, but I don't know if you got time.
We got time.
Okay.
Tell us, get into your son.
Yeah, so for sure. So I sat back and during that time, and I went into like a deep reflection, because, like you said, I didn't know. In my mind, like, okay, well, they very smart people. You hear all this stuff about the federal government and all this. So I'm thinking like they're gonna come back and indict me. You know, it's just a matter of time. That's the real reason why I told my son mother. I said, well, you just stay here in the East Coast, because I didn't want to take her back home, and they come back and indict me, and then she just end up being out there and just lost. So anyhow, but during this time, so I sat home, you know, for a week or 2 weeks or something. And I just sat and I just did deep reflection, and I thought like, how the fuck did I get involved with drugs to begin with?
Right.
And like I was saying earlier, I thought about, you know, okay, I created tension at home, so I started hanging back in my neighborhood in Roger Gardens, which was drug infested. That's how I originally got into drugs. Then I thought, okay, well, how did I end up living in Roger Gardens to begin with? And then I thought about my mother's struggle, which started from New York City, growing up in Manhattan. And she left home because my grandfather and my grandmother was abusing drugs. So that pushed her out. So then I thought even deeper. How did my grandfather and my grandmother even get into drugs? And going back to my uncle, I was telling you in the beginning with Atlantic City, we sat down one day and he told me how my grandfather got into drugs to begin with.
Yeah.
And he told me they was in Manhattan, I guess it's maybe like in the 1950s or something like that. And they was just walking down the street, you know, little boys, maybe 10 years old or something like that. And he said that it was a police officer standing outside this building. And they were kind of intrigued because everybody kept going to the building. He was like, why everybody going in the building? And so the police just standing. He's like, man, okay, come on, kids. Come on in the building. And my uncle and my uncle was like, wow, we going to the building for? He's like, we got this thing called horse. So you're like, horse? What the fuck is horse? So they went in the building, and it turned out, he told me that the police were giving out samples of horse was heroin. And they were giving it out to the local black kids that were in the neighborhood at the time in Harlem. And so my uncle and my grandfather, they both tried the horse. And my uncle, he threw up. You know, he didn't like it, but my grandfather liked it. And that was the catalyst right there for him. It turned into a lifelong journey for him with drugs, and he ended up passing away from HIV, you know, from sharing needles. And then he ended up doing that before that, ended up turning my grandmother out on drugs. You know, my grandmother just passed away, by the way, in 2022. But
God rest her soul, man.
Appreciate it, thank you.
He
ended up turning her out on drugs, and so I have to say that's what led my mother to leaving, you know, New Jersey, to come into New Jersey and run away. So then I sat back and I said, well, wait a minute, you know, we got drugs pushed on us, you know, by the powers that be. And what was happening was at that time, the Italians, I don't know if film people remember that movie, The Godfather.
Of course we do.
Okay, so it's a scene in The Godfather. I don't know if you remember the part where they all sitting down having a meeting, and they didn't want the mafia to be involved in the drug trade, but they were saying, well, what we will do is we'll get drugs, and we'll keep it in the black neighborhoods. And they made a statement, they said, we'll let them lose their souls. And around that time, that's what was happening. So the Italians were getting the drugs, and they were giving the drugs to the police, the NYPD, and they were giving the drugs to the local black kids in the ghetto to turn them out on drugs, so the Italians could.
The Italians and the Irish
make the money.
combining, two misfits.
So I sat
Two
back. I
European
sat back
misfits.
thinking.
That's nasty.
I sat back thinking about all this when I was sitting home. Once I came back, from the DA's thing in Vegas, and I said, okay, at first I'm thinking like, I'm a fuck up. Like I felt bad. I was a fuck up. But when I look back on it, it's millions of black men, black women, young youth that's caught up in the federal system, the state system, from getting involved in drugs. And I'm not saying some of it's not our fault, because it is some people that grew up in the projects that, was able to go, live different lives. But, a lot of it comes from them putting this stuff in our neighborhoods. Yeah. And it's like, and I got that from when that story from and I'm just like, damn. So I'm like, this is really how it started. And what I got from that more so, I said, we ain't the enemy. Us brothers, we not the enemy. It's a bigger enemy that's here. And then from that situation, I just had I started to have a distaste for brothers killing each other, violence towards black men, and black women. Just once I discovered that we ain't the enemy, and even so, you think about all our communities all over America. You can go in any community in America right now. The best, and some y'all know the story, but the best drugs gonna be the best drugs in America. Where? In the ghetto.
In the inner city, yeah.
You want to buy a gun, any gun you could think of, a switch, an M16, an AK-47. Go to the ghetto.
Camden, Newark, Chicago,
and that part.
LA.
And when you're younger, you don't really, you're looking for the inside out. You don't really see these things. But after I got in that situation, I started looking for my whole life from the outside in, and I'm seeing this. And I'm like, well, why is that? There's no poppy plants in the ghetto or coca leaves in the ghetto. You can't even grow them drugs in America. Our climate's not warm enough. So,
or no military to protect the farms that harvests
that part. We can't even protect ourselves. Damn, they should protect drugs. So we're not making drugs, and it's like there's no factories. In the ghetto.
No plane owners in the hood that got live in the projects that own a plane that park around the corner.
That part. So it's like this stuff was being, given to us strategically, even way back before my mom was even born.
Where is that?
So I'm like, I thought about all this during that time. I'm like, yo, this shit is so deep. And so that's now just like, what? Even the things I was involved in, I was like, I thought about that at that point I just made. Then going back to things I was involved, I said, yo, I was out of my fucking mind. Like, I'm a single father. Even though my son mother was around, but that's a whole nother story. But my son ain't really got nobody. Like I said, I come from a very dysfunctional family, and I'm just doing things to take care of my son and my son's mother. But I was going too hard. And looking back on it, I was like, what the fuck am I thinking about? So and that's when I realized I was just like, what? That was the turning point, for myself. I was like, well, you know what? If I don't stay out here and change my life, my son could possibly grow up like a man like me,
or even worse,
or even worse.
And that's the most important thing you said tonight. You ain't tell the people yet, but you on your way back out to the West Coast right now to be with your son and support him. How old is your son right now?
Right now he's 6.
Right now he's 6.
Beautiful.
He needs you more than ever right now. And we just want to say up here at the World Takes, listen, nobody is perfect. This journey called life, we all going to live it. We going to go through it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do shit right. You're going to do shit wrong. You're going to offend people. You're going to piss people off. You're going to get in some trouble, right? But nobody is perfect. We all human beings at the end of the day. The most important thing for me, right, and the most important thing that really hit home with me when you told me the other day, this was the other day, you didn't say it today, said, man, I'm going back out there to take care of my son. My son need me. You say he's 6 years old, he need me.
That's a fact.
That's real for me. Because my son's 17 right now. My daughter 12. They need me. I can't go nowhere. It don't matter what's going on with me and a mom. It don't matter if she hate me, I hate her, which we don't. But I'm just using an example. Like, we came a long way. You know, my kid's older now. Your kid's still young. But it's just like, it don't matter what's going on, nigga. I can't go nowhere where I'm going. That's where my kids at, right? They need me. And that's admirable on your part. I respect it. You hear me? I don't care about the other shit you've been through, the other mistakes you made. We all make them. Well, we want to have a mistake Olympics. Y'all want me to start telling my mistakes. You start telling your mistakes. You start, and then we see who get the gold medal. That's what y'all want to do in here tonight.
Mistake is a bad word, though. Mistake isn't always, you know what I mean?
Mistakes
it's life.
is mistakes. Mistakes, you live and you learn, bro.
Yeah.
Or some people don't learn, though. Some people don't learn. And they might, you know what I mean? The semantics game, I'm done with it, right?
Yeah.
I'm there for my kids, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm there for my baby mom, even though I'm not with her. You heard me?
Yeah.
I'm there for my family and friends, that's it. It's over. For me, personally, like, I know what I gotta do right now in this moment. And it seemed like you know that too, Tone. We want you to know we proud of you up here at the World Takes. And we want you to know, when you come back this way, man, you're more than welcome, man. Come up here, share some more stories. We only cracked the surface tonight.
That's a
we
fact.
Ain't even
I
really
feel like it's a whole bunch of shit.
We ain't even really get too deep in. I know Beeb got really more questions for you.
Yeah, let me get one more in real quick.
He want to dive deep.
Yeah, I want real
It's all
quick.
good. Y'all can go deep, or
All right, so,
y'all want to do it again, whatever.
First of all, I appreciate you coming through here today, and I appreciate the fact that you somebody who could tell a story and go into detail, and you can recollect things, and I'll envy that. Obviously,
Appreciate
that
y'all.
type of mental, because a lot of things like my boys might have to remind me a story like I've been through or something like that. So the fact that you could tell a detailed story, I appreciate it. Now you gave two examples of you basically being extorted or taking the losses, and both times it involved like the police or authorities, government authorities. Now Jeezy said even the realest nigga got, right? And when it comes to government authorities, that don't count. But like, a lot of people hear stories. We didn't really go into stories about your glory, even though, we gotta come back for that though. We got about when you lit, you know what I mean? But
when you ready for that, when you ready to share that, that's when we gonna come back.
We can we can figure it out though, because we want to hear more honestly though. This story is impelling though, honestly, and you make it easy for us to understand it and visualize it. But when you was in the midst of that, right? You was in your highs, lows, whatever you was doing to get money. Like I said, Jeezy said even the realest nigga got. Do you got any situations where somebody actually robbed you? Or like, you know what I mean, laid you down or gave you some fake product, any type of story you want to tell us that's like, a detailed one real quick.
Most definitely. Yeah, in the game, yeah, definitely gonna make a lot of mistakes, but it's magic in mistakes. But for sure, yeah, at the time, I used to go to Arizona, a lot. That was like another one of my stomping grounds. So I was in the Damu culture. So at this time, I met someone out there that was going to help me, with business, with drugs.
A local?
Yeah, he lived out there.
He was local, or he was from there, or he just lived out there?
He wasn't from there, but he lived out there, I guess maybe 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
So,
from where, Cali?
Nah, I forget where he was from, the Midwest somewhere. I forget exactly where he's from, but he lived in Arizona. Yeah. Him and his, he lived out there maybe like 5 or 10 years. So you could sort of say he was a local. That's where he was from. So, but also he was he was a Damu. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking like, all right, this the homie. Mm-hmm. So everything should be all good. So we doing business, everything's smooth. You know what I'm saying? I'm crisscrossing the country. This is many years. I'm crisscrossing the country, going back and forth from Arizona, to the East Coast. And it was this Mexican that used to come around. This little short, young Mexican. And he used to tell me, he's always be talking like, you know, that he can help, you know, help me with things also. And but the homie is like, yo, no, don't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? He just capping, you know. So, but in my mind, this was like probably my first time going to the West Coast.
What year was this?
I ain't sure the exact year, but this was
in the 2000s?
Yeah, maybe like 2015, 16ish,
Okay.
14, some of them years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I went out there often. Like I said, business was smooth, but between me and the homie, everything was all good. But until I met this Mexican, like I said, he would always be, cause like I would go there do business, but sometimes I was still in the course while I'm waiting, you know, to get the drugs. Me and the homie would talk, drink, and just
Now, this
kick
what?
it.
Coke, dope, heroin, weed. What we talking?
He already told us the answer to that. He said a hustler can sell it all. He was dibbling and dabbling on everything.
So yeah, we a lot of times I'd just be hanging around at the homie house, and then the Mexican would come around, and one day he's like, "Yo, I want you to meet my boss, the Mexican." So I'm like, this is one of my first times coming to the West Coast, you know, doing business. I think this was the very first time I was going to Arizona, the West Coast. I went other places, but it started with Arizona. That was the catalyst. Actually, I started doing business there, and so he wanted me to go meet his boss. So I'm like, all right, for sure. I'm trying to meet as many people as I can, you know.
Yeah.
I'm in the West Coast. I need
Network.
plugs.
Yeah.
That part.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So your network's your network. So I went and I met. You took for a ride. I met his boss, who was an older guy, and we ride and talking about tickets and prices and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, and then we, you know, maybe we might exchange numbers or something. So I'm like, okay, he knows somebody. And so I would come back to Jersey, and, you know, the Mexican, he would be texting me sometime, like, yo, next time you coming out, this and that. So I'm like, all right, for sure. I'll be back out there in a week, 2 weeks or whatever. Like I said, I was going out there pretty often. And then one time I went out there, and the homie, I met one of his cousins, and he was a Damu also. So I'm like, okay. And the homie cousin and this Mexican, they grew up since childhood. They
fly.
They was cool.
Yeah.
So usually I don't give any I wouldn't give any money, you know, without product, you know.
Not.
But like I said, I'm asked the homie, you know what I'm saying? You know, can you vouch for him? He's like, yeah, everything good. The homie cousin, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, everything good, you know? So once he stamped that, I'm like, everything good, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, this the homie cousin. If something go wrong, I could just go
to the homie
and tell him.
Take care of it.
Yeah. So we
the same homie who told you don't fuck with him, though.
Yeah, and
no
looking back
money
on
without product, y'all. I wanna say that. I wanna just emphasize it, because that's the golden rule, nigga. No money without product. If anything, we looking to get the product without the money, but we bringing it right back. Just know that. Just tuck that away. Put that in your mental roller. I'm sorry.
But unless you messing with baby real quick. Unless you messing with baby. Word up. My shit is solidified. I don't got no smut on my name. No whole shit. None of that. Listen. Put the money is good without the product. The product gonna come, and it's gonna come quality. And if it don't, you get your money back. That's a fact. That's just me, but I get what you're saying.
No, listen, it
I get what you're
good,
saying, and that's
everybody got their own.
That's legal or illegal, however you feel. Like I always listen. Some people, it is. It's. I would bet on somebody trying to get over though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I bet the over on the scammers and shit like that. Like, it's not too many good people that you can just rely on.
I think it's case to case. I think like when I get in the room with real niggas, I can kind of get a read, right? I can kind of get a read, and it's just like, again, like I said, I'm trying to get that product with no money. I'm bringing the money back. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't leaving town. That's for sure. I just told y'all, I got my kids.
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Where I'm going, right? I ain't skipping town. I ain't running off on the plug. But give me that product. You heard me? But I get it. If you a nigga, you like to get the money and then get the product later, I get that too.
However it slice it, like I just want to be good. All right, let's move forward though. All right, so boom. You got the old boy, the short Mexican guy. He was like, you know, he running game on you. He talking that talk. Then how it ended up happening? How you end up taking a loss?
So we coordinated a transaction, a deal, whatever. And it was a situation where I was in a hotel at the time, and I gave him. He had to go get the product. You know, like I say, from the homie, you know, insurance. I'm like thinking everything gonna be smooth, and I gave him the money. He ain't come back.
He disappeared on
Yep.
Hey, yo, that happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
That
How much you
happened to me.
lost?
That happened to me.
It wasn't like a
some
whole
big
lot.
note.
Maybe like
You heard?
I don't know, 10,000 maybe. Yeah. I don't remember the exact numbers. But looking back on it, you know, like I was saying with the women business, even with the drug business, as time goes by, you know, you get smarter from your mistakes, you know, because it's magic in mistakes, and mistakes is how you learn, you know. So looking back on it, I'm kind of happy it did happen because, you know, it helped me to amplify, you know, what I was doing. So I was able to go on to other levels. So, because there was other situations that came along after that, but I knew now how to maneuver not to do things like that. So it was kind of good that was my very first time, you know, on the West Coast. I was thirsty. I was like, I'm on the West Coast.
Somebody got you real quick.
Even though the homie telling me, nah, don't do that. Yeah. But it's my first time. I'm not knowing. So, but
you out in other niggas' city. Who pretty much like introduced you or brought you to this city, and you fucking with other people that they telling you not to fuck
I should have listened.
Know what I mean? All right, listen. Real quick though, before Moolah come back, because he's gonna try to end the show. You was like the feds was like, let's see how, I don't know if you said your Mexican friends or your cartel friends or whatever are gonna take that loss or whatever. When the feds had got you for the over 100 racks, right? Were you in relation? Did you have any relationships with? I know you had your friends out in Mexico. You know what I mean? But did you have anybody like from Mexico that was actually like moving drugs or into any type of legal business?
No, I didn't. But I will say that when you mentioned cartel, I want to speak on that because it's kind of funny because people in Mexico they don't talk like that. They don't call each other like the cartel. It's like that's something. Like I watch programs like, you know, American programs and the other cartel. They don't talk like that. Yeah. But no. They knew about it, my amigos. But like I say, with them, it was more so just a friendship. No, it was never nothing illegal. But they did know about it, and we still communicate to this day, you know. Surprisingly, out of everything that's been going on, like I said, you hear a lot of things about Mexicans, you know, but not because that story I told you about the Arizona thing. But I would just say these particular ones was some of the they're very close to me, and we still cool to this day. I know you hear a lot of myths about Mexicans, but for the most part, most of them, at least are the ones I had experiences with, very respectful people, very good people, probably some of the most nice people I ever met in my life. So, like I said, they still check on me, you know, to this day, check on me and my son. So it's all good. But no, never, to answer your question, no, it wasn't never nothing illegal with them.
I want to, and I hate that we had to do this, but we going on hour 3, man. We've been up here all night. We gonna have to bring it to an end eventually. Word is life. And no, but Tone, it's been a pleasure. Make some noise. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going, because this is just the beginning, Tone.
I appreciate y'all.
First time on the show.
Man. We need you back though, man.
Not
you got
the
a
last.
story to tell.
He coming back, y'all. He got more stories for y'all. It's so much.
You might need a book.